There is nothing wrong with your internet. Do not attempt to adjust your settings. We are controlling the podcast. We control the squealing and the screams. We can make your heart flutter, your eyes blur from tears, or sharpen your mind to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit back. We are in control of what you hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your settings. You are about to experience the awe and mystery known as the female mind. You are now entering the Fangirl Zone.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 94 of Sci-Fi Talk in the Fangirl Zone, a podcast where we discuss shows on the Sci-Fi Channel. I'm Sean, Fangirl S.
And I'm Steve, and tonight we'll be discussing episode 7 of season 2 of Wynonna Earp.
Oh my gosh! They got season 3!
Yes, they did.
It was announced at their panel at San Diego Comic-Con, which, let me tell you, I have never been more disappointed that I wasn't somewhere as I was this last weekend with San Diego Comic-Con, because all of our sci-fi shows were there, and the Earpers were like going crazy. It was like nothing you've ever seen. And shout out to our friends over at the Nerd Element, because Natasha and Kim went to the Earpers meetup.
Yes.
Got to meet the crew. Makes me sad, because that would have been awesome. But they did a bunch of meetups. And so anybody who was there, who happens to be listening to our podcast, if you want to write in, let us know what happened. If you want to come on the next episode, talk about it, because they had the evening party. They had a whiskey and donuts, morning one.
Yes.
They had a lunch.
Yes.
Every day they were meeting with their fans, and I know Black Badge Podcast was definitely there and talking to them. And there were so many of the other Earpers that were there. So yes, Steve and I are super jealous. We wish we could have been there with you guys. So we need to live vicariously through you. Please come on and talk to us and share any photos that you had and your stories from actually meeting the cast. And if you haven't already seen some of the footage from the videos, go on YouTube, because some of it is hilarious. Yes. And actually just look at their Twitter feeds, because all of them were just going nuts posting it up. And the best one that I seen was the EW little video photo booth that they did.
Right, with them dancing.
Yes, it was great. If you haven't seen it, definitely go look it up. You'll get a kick out of it. So yes, big, awesome news. We're getting another season. So we'll get to know what happened, because especially after the last line of this episode, ours, what does that mean? We'll have to find out. Oh my God. All right. So as you know, this was during Comic-Con. So a couple 100,000 of our closest friends were not watching at the time, which I feel may play a part with this ratings news. So.
Yes, because it only had a 0.1 in adults 18 to 49 and 0.397 million viewers, dropping it to 88th overall.
Oh, but like I said, a lot of people weren't there watching. And I know a lot of people, when they got home Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, I've seen a lot of tweets about the show after. So
right.
Definitely watching it. Definitely keep tagging the show, though, because yes, we got a season 3, but it shows them how much we want this show on the air.
Yes, it does.
So, all right, Steve, let's talk about episode 7. Holy crap, episode 7? We're almost done with this season.
Yes.
I can't handle this because it's so good. It's entitled Everybody Knows. Doc and Wynonna's indiscretions haunt the team and the ties that bind them. Wynonna and Nicole hit the road for answers. Yeah, okay. So there was some stuff that happened. And not super big fan of Miss Waverly and part of the show, because I'm like, no! But we'll get to that. Let's talk about the gardeners, shall we?
All right. Wynonna and Dolls pays them a visit looking for Tucker. And of course, the sisters are playing it as Tucker is the bad person, that he locked him up in this room, and on and on and on and on. Now, afterwards, Wynonna tells Dolls something isn't right. and that she believes Mercedes is not acting her normal self. So, of course, Dolls decides that they need to stake out the gardener's home and actually allows Jeremy to go with him.
Poor Jeremy. Because he was so super excited. And it was so sweet. I mean, come on. Because he's like, oh, yeah, we're at the steakhouse. Oh, you're watching. Oh, let's wait. And Doll's just like, stop talking.
Yeah, first rule of a stakeout. No talking.
It was cute, but I'm like, aw, poor kid.
Now, of course, during this, he finds a swatch of the veil he picked up in the saloon after their fight with the widows. So, we may have a way to find the widows.
Yay! And I love it because Dolls is like, if you're going to blow your nose, just blow your nose. And he's like, no, that's not what this is. And then I think that helps because when Jeremy's like, no, it's part of the veil. And then Dolls is like, what? And the kind of light, his face lights up. And Jeremy's like, yay, I did good. He's like a little kid, like bouncing in the chair, like, yay. It was so cute. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, he is a completely different level of nerd compared to Zeph on Killjoys.
Yes.
He doesn't quite have a lot of social skills, but they're not quite as bad as Zeph's.
Yeah, Zeph isn't there in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Like, Jeremy can deal with people, obviously. He just gets super excited.
Yes. All right, we move on to the Earp homestead, where Jeremy schools the sisters on the widow's history, which is basically what we know, except that they were kept in a box for over a century.
Yeah, that was kind of messed up when Jeremy's like, oh, yeah, we haven't gotten to check a lot of stuff out, so it's been a while. So how long has Black Badge been
around?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was like, wait, that's crazy.
Yes. This points to things battles going on between good and evil going on for a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? The Order may be something that's been around for centuries as well.
Ooh.
Actually, the Earp curse may actually be one of the later things to happen in this battle. So.
Ooh, I didn't think about that. Interesting.
Now, of course, Waverly informs Wynonna that she was able to translate some of the writing, and it's in Phoenician saying, let thee rise. So apparently the widows are trying to bring something back.
And that frightens me because obviously we know a whole bunch of Big Bad is trying to happen.
Right.
And they've waited for a while. What the heck, Big Bad, are they looking at?
Yeah, I have the feeling we might end up dealing with a demigod before this is over with.
Oh, jeez. Because nothing's going to be easy for us.
No, not at all. Now, of course, out of the note, Doc and Dolls arrive, and basically out of nowhere, an obstetrician shows up.
Yeah, this was funny because it wasn't just like, oh, can you do a house call? Because the OB is basically saying, I was basically kidnapped and brought here, but let's figure out what's going on. Oh, it was funny and sad, but sad as in like, I can't believe they did that, not crying sad.
Right. Now, of course, this might have had something to do with Wynonna's little spell as her and Dolls were heading back to their vehicle after meeting with the sisters. She gets a little woozy, shall we say.
A little woozy, a little weepy, a little I need Greek yogurt.
Yeah. Which she was eating at the beginning of the episode.
Yes.
Like there was no tomorrow.
Right.
So we seem to have found out what her craving is.
I wonder if she was really like eating that on set. I mean, it looked like it, but
yeah.
I mean, was she like, I really need some yogurt here, guys? That's something to tweet out at her.
Sure is. Now, of course, she wants blood work from both the parents to make sure that the baby is fine. And that gives Wynonna a bit of a pause, and we kind of go, all right, what's going on here?
Right. And this is where, when she's like, oh, and then when she actually tells Waverly, Doc may not be the father. I know my jaw pretty much hit the floor.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean?
Where is this coming from?
And in all of this, like in between, we get this weird flash from this guy covered in cobwebs.
Yes.
What? And he's like, oh, did I fall asleep again? And this kid's like, we found him. I'm like, okay, first of all, dude, you're covered in cobwebs and like a nice layer of dust.
Yes.
And did I fall asleep again? What is going on? What is this? Who are you?
Right. But of course, Doc is ran out to the yard to smoke because of the baby. And we get the young boy who basically IDs Doc and brands him for a warrant that was made almost 200 years ago.
Which was so weird when he did this. Because, you know, the kid is like kind of bouncing around place to place and he's just like, Doc, are you Doc Holliday? He's like, kid, are you crazy? But then like something clicked with Doc. Like, wait a second. This kid is not dressed normal. And he keeps insinuating things. It's like, wait a second. So I thought it was weird. And especially when the kid, like, did he take his gun and mark him? Okay.
Yes.
And I'm like, what the heck is that?
Yeah. What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, and so then we go back basically inside to, you know, Wynonna and Waverly's like, oh my god, he's going to be crushed. He's going to kill everybody. He's going to go crazy.
And Wynonna says, well, he might be relieved.
And the whole fandom is like, no! Because everybody wants it. I don't even know what their shipping name would be. I'm like, why Doliday? I don't know. Somebody let me know what their shipping name is for Wynonna and Doc. I know there's one out there. There's gotta be.
Yes. The beginning of as soon as Doc Holliday was introduced. Now, of course, the scene when he comes back in and Wynonna informs him about the blood samples, which he doesn't even bat an eye about. Then we kind of get a really touching scene between them where Doc is about as awkward as he possibly can be, and you can tell that he's completely out of his time.
Oh my gosh, so out of his element with this.
Right.
But
and out of
so
time
sweet.
because he didn't really know what to say and how to say it, but basically he tells her that whatever she needs to make her happy, he'll be there for her to provide that.
And he put his hand on the baby bump.
Yes.
Cause when he's like, you know, in my time, things were a lot different, but anything you needed, I'm like, this doesn't make up for not kissing when you've seen it, but still, it was like, It's so sweet. And I think all the Earpers went, oh.
Yes. The Twitterverse definitely
exploded
at that. Now, of course, he goes ahead and leaves, and Waverly goes into mass panic mode, calls Nicole to have her come stay with Wynonna while she goes to talk to Doc.
Which I kept thinking, no, don't do it, Waverly. Just don't say anything.
Yes.
See what he says. See how it goes. Ugh.
But she doesn't, and she, of course, misinterprets his demeanor for being a disappointment at possibly not being the father, and lets the cat out of the bag.
And Doc, man, his head flipped around like, what?
Yeah.
And she's like,
oh no.
Crap. Yeah, just like, oh, she's gonna kill me.
Yeah. Doc was only semi-disturbed about this kid and this supposed warrant, but after hearing that, there was some fire in those eyes.
Right. And plus he's like, well, maybe it's for the better.
Right.
But the whole time he's getting snippy, which later we see it more, I think he is in the mindset that it might be Doll's baby.
Ooh.
Because he was snipping at Dolls constantly, even though Dolls kept saying, congratulations, and you're going to be there for Wynonna and the baby. And he just kept saying all that. And it's like, wait, but Doc just kept snipping at him. Like, I think in his head, he thinks it might be Dolls.
Right.
And this is when it's like, gets worse because, Wynonna's on the stairs and Waverly's like, hey, so I accidentally told him he might not be the dad. And I thought Wynonna was going to have the baby right then.
Right.
And this is what really threw me because all of a sudden, because this was, towards the end of the episode.
Yeah.
And Waverly's like, but I might not be an Earp. And she's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you said one thing, and after everything that's happened this episode, Wynonna's probably a little bit ticked about what she's found out, what possibly found out.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're going to throw this at her? And
deflect it with not being an Earp.
That doesn't make any sense. And you're saying this because Bobo put he planted that seed of doubt.
Yes, he did.
I honestly don't think that's the case, though.
No, I don't either. I believe Waverly is an Earp. I truly do. Now, could it be that Bobo had an affair with the mother?
Oh, that's what I was thinking that he was trying to insinuate.
Right. I believe that's what he's trying to put in what Waverly's head happened as well.
Yes, but I don't know.
They're still sisters because it's the same mom.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, she was an Earp by marriage either way.
Right.
Oh, I guess we'll find out. Maybe.
But then Wynonna decides that she's going to drop her own bombs on us.
Yes.
By taking Nicole to Pussy Willow's.
Which apparently is a strip club.
Yes. Out in the sticks.
On the way, not right side of the tracks, I believe is how she put it.
To talk to the second possible baby daddy about a DNA test.
God. And it gets worse. It gets so much worse.
Because, of course, Wynonna fills in some of the details for Nicole, and she points out the guy who she thinks it possibly could be.
Yes.
And then he turns around, and we see he's a frickin' revenant.
So my jaw fell open, and I'm like, what? No, how is this possible?
Right. Exactly.
So
I don't care how drunk Wynonna got. And we see clips where she's almost on stage with the strippers.
Right. It's kind of funny.
So she had to be just 10 times over the legal limit and to have sex with this guy.
But even like through the episode when this guy he's trying to be nice and get Wynonna drunk again. And then all of a sudden he becomes Mr. Handsy.
Yes.
And all of a sudden he's like, I'm a revenant. He's like letting it show and showing the fact that, oh, I knew you were the heir. And you
now
just
we
didn't know.
Created something. Yeah.
And he kept saying, he kept saying though, it's not supposed to be possible. It's not supposed to be possible. So I'm thinking it's not possible.
Right. But he's thinking, I did something that nobody else could do. And
right.
It's all about him.
Yeah. And when he's all like, we're the new Adam and Eve, it's like, no, stop. Because if the only way to break the curse is to kill all the revenants, if, big if here, her child was half revenant, would that mean that the child would have to die too?
Right.
No.
To break the curse. And so no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. And, can I say drunk Nicole though was so fun?
Yes, she was. Because of course Jonas is trying to get Wynonna drunk and Nicole is just as fast as she can, just swapping a full one out for an empty one for Wynonna, and she's down in those shots. She just gets plastered.
Oh, yeah, it was great. And still, she manages to figure out that she had a hidden gun on her ankle.
Yes.
Because she's like, I'm drunk and I don't have my gun. And then she's like, I have one. Ha ha. And she still made the shot to blow out the light switches and killed the lights and managed to let Wynonna and her get away. And it's funny because as they're outside, you have Jonas coming out. Yeah, doing the whole, we are new people and I knew it was you and this is awesome. And Wynonna's like, no. And so she's like ready to shoot him. And he turns and starts to run the other way. And at least Waverly shows up, even though she hasn't said things correctly, but smashes the guy in the face with the door. Which, hello, if you've seen a car there, why would you run towards it thinking, okay, well, maybe that person's not getting out of the car.
Right.
Apparently he's a little dumb. But, if you have Peacemaker aimed at you.
Yeah, you're running. You aren't paying attention to what's in front of you. You're just running.
Well, they load him up in the trunk and it's like, all right, well, we'll make sure that he's eliminated from the pool of daddies. But he won't shut the hell up.
No, he will not.
Ugh. You know what? They couldn't even get the sample from him.
No.
Because he's just such an ass. And he's just, they're out. And I think at this point is when Nicole finally realizes. Because, she hasn't seen what happens to the Revenant.
Right.
And Wynonna and Waverly are like, well, what are we going to do with him? And Waverly's like, he's a Revenant. You're going to kill him. And Nicole's like, what do you mean? Kind of freaking out. And this is the first time that she sees what actually happens.
Right.
And, because Wynonna is so broken up that the possibility that this man could be the baby's father, and Waverly, comes in after she kills her. Nicole's still kind of in the background like, holy crap. And Wynonna and Waverly are like, what are we going to do? Waverly's like, what's this baby going to be? And this one, Wynonna's like, ours. And I'm like, oh, yeah. It's dusty. My eyes are tearing up.
Yeah.
Because it's
for the
so
second
sad.
time.
Yes, because it's so sad. Because you're thinking, okay, Waverly thinks that she's not an Earp. Wynonna now has this in her head that it could be part Revenant.
It could be part Revenant.
Doc is freaked the hell out, and because of Waverly saying, oh, you might not be the dad. And like I said, the way he's been acting, I think he believes it's Dolls. Even though when they work together, Doc and Dolls work together great.
Yes.
But if it's any kind of personal thing, it's like they're always just snipping at each other.
Yes.
Speaking of which, how about we head to the police station to find out what the guys are up to? And let me say, the trio was great this episode. And I just want to see little shorts, and outtakes of these three because I thought they were hilarious.
Yes. The gag reel has got to include one of the scenes that we're about to talk about. There is no doubt about that. Of course, Doc gets there and he starts just loading weapons out the yin-yang as he is preparing for a fight. Now, of course, Jeremy is working in the lab and he requests Doc and Doll's help as all 6 hands are needed to capture the vaporous toxin emitted from the veil, which Jeremy can then use to mix up an antidote. So basically he is trying to give us a leg up on the widows. And then he uses a binding spell to draw out the vapor, but apparently he mispronounced a word wrong, but instead succeeds in binding all 3 of them together with invisible chains.
Which was pretty hilarious. And this is what I know you're talking about, that we need to see this in outtakes.
Yes, we do.
And plus, they chose not to cooperate because Doc was getting snippy with Dolls, so they didn't collect the vapor.
Right.
Damn it, Doc. Quit being snippy.
And of course, right after they all get binded together, our Phantom Bounty Hunter Reeves shows up looking for Doc. Mm-hmm. Catches him and strings him up by the neck.
And Jeremy flies up into the air. And it was great. I know that sounds bad.
Right.
But it was just great what they were doing, because then Dolls is holding him up. And I mean, the guy who we find out is a marshal didn't even look twice that, this guy is suddenly flying up into the air.
No,
when he
not at all.
Strings up Doc. It's like, maybe you should pay attention to that. But I thought it was really funny and really it was great because they could only be in this little area apart from each other.
Right. And they're having to figure out which way to move so that they could get out of the situation.
Yes, yeah. But this was even weirder because was it Doc, I think, that pulled out the gun?
Yeah, Jeremy threw something at him and no effect, went right through him. Doc, no effect, went right through him.
And then, yeah, the man happens to say, nothing from this earth or from this plane can affect me.
Right.
And somehow, Dolls knocks him out.
Right.
I'm like, wait. No, and one of them, I can't remember if it was Doc or Jeremy, he's like, wait, you're not from this plane? You're not from this earthly realm or something? Like, one of them said something along those lines. And, like, Dolls is just like, well, I don't know. You know, it's like, yeah. And then Jeremy runs. It's like, ah, crap. And because Jeremy decides to run, well, they all have to go with.
Right.
And it's like, all right, well, now we have this, what's his name, Reeves, who's behind him, and a whole group of ghostly bounty hunters in front of them.
Yes.
Ah, crap. And I love it because they're like, Doc basically decides to be like, listen, all right, fine, I did it, but you need to let them go. And they're like, no. You don't understand.
Right. They're accessories to the crime now.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, crap. Then I really started freaking out because I'm like, all right, Doc and Dolls I know can handle themselves and probably fight whatever, but I don't think Jeremy could do it.
No, not at this point in time he could.
Yeah. And basically, what was the crime?
Oh, Doc had a, shall we say, a fling with a judge's wife.
Twice.
Well,
apparently, yes. He should not have been doing that, but really?
Two wrongs don't make a right, and you picked on the wrong judge to do that too.
But you're gonna have a warrant, like a kill warrant for that? That's crazy.
Back in the Wild West, shoot yes.
Oh, that's just crazy though. I'm sorry.
Right, yeah. There was plenty of minor crimes like that were punishable by death back then. You just didn't mess with them.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah. Now, just as they're about to take Doc out, or actually when they tell Doc that, yeah, they're going to kill both Dolls and Jeremy, he jumps in front of Dolls, and Dolls sees the
mark on his neck.
The mark on his neck.
I almost forgot about that.
Yes, and that saves them all because he recognizes that this is a marshal's mark, and the guy is actually the famed U.S. Marshal who inspired Dolls to dedicate himself to the law.
Which I thought was really sweet, but we had those funny moments when Jeremy leans over and they all lean over, but.
Right.
And, I mean, there was a pretty decent speech Dolls gave, too, about how Doc has redeemed himself and he's done all of this.
Right. He's a good man, and I pardon him, and yeah, because he flashes his badge, and he's higher ranked than Reeves.
Yes, which I thought was great, because obviously, that saved the day.
Yes.
But even after Dolls is like, oh my gosh, yes, you're the person who inspired me. He's like, I don't know who you are, dude.
Right.
But he's like,
of course, he's been asleep for 200 years.
But I love it because he's like, okay, fine. Well, I'll give you the warrant then, since you're, higher ranked. And when Dolls pardons and rips him up, everyone's like, all right. And I love it because the whole ghostly gang, all of a sudden they're like, okay, guys, we can go rest now.
Yes.
And there was like a collective sigh of relief.
Yeah, that they let out as they turned away and disappeared.
Yeah, it is like, oh, they trekked out into the snow, but now they're like, poof, gone. Very Juan Carlos of you.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great. I really liked it. And, then, they get back to the police station and they're talking. And again, because earlier, which I failed to mention, I'm sorry. Earlier when Doc was like loading up all the guns, he says something to Dolls at that point about, I might not even be the daddy. You should be happy about that. That's why I'm saying I feel like he thinks it's Dolls.
Right.
And the little snippet.
And I agree with you. I think he is too. I think he thinks that it's possibly could be Dolls.
And, so at the end, when Dolls goes and gets like a beer, 2 beers or something out of the fridge and hands one to Doc, he's like, you're going to make a great dad. And I really think Doc is like, I don't know, because now I'm kind of freaked.
No. Yes, he has never, ever, 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 ever considered being a father.
Because, like he said, it was totally different. Like, the guys didn't even have anything that they were really doing back then. They weren't involved.
Yeah, they didn't have to be responsible.
Yeah. So, Jeremy falls asleep at the desk and they cover him up. And I love it. Doc's like, how long do you think it's going to be before we're not connected anymore? And I thought it was funny because I'm like, wait, Dolls went in the other room. Did you not realize that?
Right.
And then Dolls is like, no.
And he goes, yeah, I think we're already unconnected.
Yeah. So I'm really, really hoping, of course, like everybody else, that it's Doc's baby. But something I noticed, and other people started mentioning this. When Doc went outside on the porch to have a smoke, he started coughing.
Yes.
And I didn't put it together until after the show. All of a sudden I'm like, wait.
Yes. We will have to deal with the consequences of her death and what that means to Doc.
Now, granted, it's curable now, but how far along was he with the disease?
Right.
Would it be at whatever stage he was at? Would it still be curable now?
Yeah, that's the only question.
Yes, and I was freaking the hell out. And I do want to say, though, if you were on and you were tweeting over this live episode, the cast was at a big viewing party in San Diego tweeting, and it was great because they were talking about each other and just like smack talking back and forth. And they were showing pictures. They're in this huge room. Yes. And so this is how much the cast is dedicated to this show. Because when you're in San Diego, you're lucky if you remember your name half the time because you're working on like 2-3 hours sleep.
Right.
And all the parties and everything that they had a viewing party for a bunch of fans to come in and watch and do live tweeting. So thank you guys so much. Heartfelt thanks to the cast of Wynonna Earp. And I'm glad we have another season, and I'm so hoping that we get so much more episodes.
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. So now that all that's said and done, what do you guys think? What do you think the coughing means? Who do you think the baby daddy is? Find out on the next Maury. Oh, wait. Or you can just shoot us an email and let us know, and we'll talk about it like we're on Maury. So fangirlzonepodcast@gmail.com. We so want to know because I have questions. I have theories, which you guys have heard about. So we want to know about you, though. Now, don't forget to rate and review us on iTunes and all the platforms that you're listening to us on because good ratings and reviews help other fans of the show find us. Tell your friends start watching this. If they haven't watched Wynonna Earp with you, you need to get them into it because this is great. Make them binge watch it. That's what I do with all my friends.
Yeah.
What do you mean you haven't watched this? Sit down and watch this. And of course, for episode 94 of Fangirl Zone, I am Sean Fangirl S.
And I'm Steve. I mean, imagine the little rascal if he has Doc's piercing blue eyes and Wynonna's luscious hair. I swear, seriously, we're going to be defenseless against such a glorious creature.
And until next time.